welcome back to Corpses and Cocktails. As you can tell, it's been a long time.
It's been a hot minute. It has been a hot minute. We had some trials and tribulations getting here. Just for full disclosure, Erin has taken a leave of absence for a little while. She'll probably be back, but we're just gonna hold the door open and
Yeah.
hope for the best.
Yeah.
She
She'll
needed
miss
some
us.
time.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna miss the detail she used to put in those.
I know.
Fucking,
She's just the
she
effort.
she was a beast with homework. I was
Mhm.
like, she was telling you what they were thinking, what they smelled like, yeah, fully what they were wearing. I'm like, and then he murdered her. Like,
I do my
yeah,
cases like on the day.
yeah.
I'm just like a week in prep.
I'm listening to someone else's podcast. I'm like transcribing it on my phone.
Like
she's like,
copy and
she's like,
pasting.
I ordered 6 books about it, and then, yeah, I
She's like,
love
can I
that
watch
girl.
the forensic files? I
Yeah,
was like,
exactly.
paste Wikipedia.
Yeah, exactly right. What's new with you, Jamie?
I lost my job.
Oh, yeah.
That one hurt.
That's
That
yeah, yeah,
was
yeah.
a kick in the shins. Yep. So that was devastating. Because obviously I'd just gone back and they were like, look, like my leg's still broken. They're like, you can't do half of what you could do. You can only mow the lawn so many times. And I was like, fair. So that was that.
Yeah.
So I'm doing nothing
Except this
except this.
and your rehab stuff.
Am I right? Yeah. That's an always. That's an always. And I re-enrolled for uni. I was doing. I was accepted into psych science at Deakin,
Yeah.
and I did a couple of weeks of that, and it was horrible. It
Yeah.
was so horrible. I was like the first assessment was literally like, how can you make yourself better? And I was like,
If I
well,
knew.
yeah, I would not be here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, the dog is still eating.
That's fine. I can't really hear him. Discord doesn't pick it up.
Okay, good. And so I like quit that because I was like, it's not happening. And then so I re-enrolled for my criminology course at
Yeah.
Federation and got straight back into that.
good.
Although I started in like I was accepted straight away, but I start again in like
Feb?
May.
Oh.
Maybe Feb.
Hey.
No,
Wow.
it's weird. They're
Yeah.
weird.
My nursing course that I'm currently doing, was I doing that when we last recorded?
I think you were. I think you just started it.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah,
You
probably.
were talking about it.
Yeah.
So.
But that starts, I did the first month, and then it ended because coronavirus like put everything off. So now I had to wait I was meant to start in June and it started in November. So I did a month of school and then it's Christmas holidays now. So we have to, I get back at January 27th. And then yeah. I barely get any holidays and then boom, straight back in, yeah.
Oh, that's rough.
But I did have like the waiting period to like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
From June till November. So theoretically I've had a break, but it wasn't like I could just like not work and just like veg out, but you know, yeah.
It's not like you go places and go
Yeah,
relaxing.
exactly, because it was fucking Rona times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a cheat, isn't it?
Oh, it's absolutely a treat. And I am
This
not
is
happy,
great.
but I am very
Someone's crying.
so angry. But yeah, it is Christmas times. Merry Christmas, y'all.
Christmas time.
We are red themed, as we always are, by the way.
Yeah,
You and me are always wearing red, and
Is
it's
it the
not my favorite color. It's not my favorite color. It just seems that whenever we do this podcast, I've fully run out of laundry, and so it's just a shirt.
I was literally in my dressing gown like 3 minutes ago, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, red hoodie. I'm not wearing a bra. I'm not wearing a singlet underneath. Nothing.
No bra, no panties.
I'm
Oh, you wouldn't get that reference.
I don't get that reference.
Yeah, no. It's a gay thing. You wouldn't understand.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm only bisexual. It's
Yeah,
fine.
exactly right. Yeah. Let me
Not the
erase you
plot.
really quick. Let me erase you. Yeah, so we are
Don't count.
we are doing almost like two heavy hitters today, but they are quite short. So it's just going to be a little bite-sized Christmas episode. And and hopefully it's to your liking. I will be going first. Did you want to start? Did you want to start?
You're just going first.
Yeah, but did you want to start the murders? The murder part? Like me, as in, like, are we ready to go?
Oh,
No, I realized how it was coming out, but I was like, how do I word this in another way?
I stopped there and I was like, am I having a stroke? I was like, I'm not computing anything
Yeah,
right now.
no.
I actually panicked a little bit.
No. You're all good.
Okay, so Brad's go first.
Yeah, I'm keeping it in. I don't care what you say. Okay, so I'm doing the Michelle O'Dowd story, which is a Christmas themed murder. So Michelle O'Dowd, also known as Mickey, was a 67-year-old New Jersey lab technician. Also, what the fuck is with all the lab technicians? Can we just? I did a lab technician last time and a lab technician this time.
It's a theme.
It's a theme.
It's a theme.
Yeah. First it was gays, now it's lab techs. Hell yeah. She lived in New York with her son, and she had like a relatively normal life until her son's sudden death in 2003, and he was 29.
How did he die?
They didn't really say. All they said, I read 3 articles and none of them told us. But she essentially, the death was super sudden. She essentially went into like huge amount of shock, and so she retired and decided to move down to Florida. Now, I will say, moving down to Florida is never a good choice. It's never a good choice. Nothing good happens in Florida.
You normally move away from Florida.
Exactly. You get out of that swamp storm. So her brother had a tech company, and so she started to work as head of accounts and collections there. So she retired into another job. I feel, yeah. So she yeah. So I think she like cut back a lot of work, and so she was just doing like office hours.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird. I think that's what it means to be retired in the US, is you're still working. Whereas here it's like you live on the pension till you turn to dust.
Basically.
Yeah.
It's not even much of a thing.
But yeah, so she moved into an apartment in Jacksonville, Florida, and she lived alone, but she had a very close friend, Patty, who was dating Michelle's nephew when she moved to Florida. So Michelle's nephew was dating Patty, and Patty and Michelle's nephew broke up, and then Patty moved to Florida. Patty was really struggling and couldn't keep jobs, so Michelle invited her to move in under the condition that she wouldn't have to pay rent for a month. And by all accounts, Michelle treated Patty really well. And Patty's plan was to get a job after the holidays and move out, and then try to piece her life back together from there. Michelle, for some reason, had given Patty her debit and credit card numbers, which is a poor choice.
Yeah. Why?
Because Michelle would ask Patty to go on like little errands and stuff like that, and like grocery shopping and like taking care of grandchildren, that sort of thing. So that's what she'd do, like instead of paying rent and food.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So Patty would clean around the house and babysit Michelle's grandchildren, and Michelle would essentially give her pocket money. And some articles sort of say it was around about this time that their friendship went sour. And the information trail does kind of die off. But it's speculated that Patty probably took a little more than originally bargained and strained the relationship. This is when Patty decided to move to York, South Carolina. And I was like, oh, she moved to New York? No, York.
Yeah, no.
On December 5th in 2011, Michelle's twin brother went to visit her apartment in Jacksonville in a gated community. He arrives and notices that her door is open. He walks inside and the entire place is absolutely trashed. The instant he saw it, he thought, this cannot be good. So he starts walking through the house. I mean, imagine walking up to your sibling's house and it's open, first of all, and smashed. Like everything's broken.
No.
He walks throughout the house. He's trying to find her. He's like, where is this bitch? Like, he's like calling out her name. Like, he does like 3 full laps of the house. And that's when he sees a human foot poking out from underneath the Christmas tree. Yes,
Oh.
bitch. Yes, bitch.
No.
She was
Just
found.
the foot?
Yeah. Well, I mean, no. So,
Okay.
she was found badly beaten and had been strangled to death, and the person hid her beneath the Christmas presents that were addressed to her grandchildren.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So they covered every part but her foot.
Oh my god, that's really
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah. And he sees this
I
and he
thought
instantly calls the
at first I
police.
thought you meant like there was like just the foot.
No, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
The foot was poking out from under the tree.
imagine, oh
Yeah, and
wow,
it's his
imagine like
sibling,
yeah,
like his twin sibling.
Jesus.
So the police show up and they're like, "Oh, this looks like a robbery." And so they start looking around. I know.
But all the
And
Christmas presents are
yeah,
there.
and all of her stuff was there. Like she had really nice stuff. She was the head, of a thing in a tech company. She had nice stuff. And none of it was taken. But you know what was taken? Can you guess? Debit card. Yeah.
Ah, duh.
So they see this and they're like, huh, this is not a robbery. That's good. And our girl Patty, our BFF Patty, was seen back in Florida later in that same day. So she'd moved to a different state. And suddenly she's back and her ex-roommate is murdered and she had all the details.
Uh,
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 So
Sad movie.
she was seen in Florida later in the day in disguise like a Scooby-Doo movie trying to get money out of an ATM. Dude, because
Puts on a wig.
the ATMs have those little cameras that watch who's there.
And they
Um,
track, and like they track the money, like
yeah,
they
yeah.
track your accounts.
And so she could only get $500 out at a time. And so she went to 2 different banks and she killed her friend essentially for $1,000.
Oh,
$1,000, dude.
Florida.
So, she had gone to the banks to withdraw the $1,000. They saw her car in the footage of the bank. She didn't change the plates on her car. And so they were like, "Oh, cool. She's an idiot. Sweet." So they lose her for a hot minute because they were like tracking her on the cameras, and then they put an APB on her license. And she was found in North Carolina where her parents lived, and she was extradited back to Florida to give a statement and interview. And during this interview, she confessed to the murder. So not a long time on the run.
Merry fucking Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. It was like underneath. Like, do you give the kids the presents? Like,
Yeah,
what
do you rewrap them?
What do you do?
Wipe the blood off.
Are they evidence? Like, obviously Christmas is ruined.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but
Wow.
yeah, and so she said in a statement that she wanted her own money and she didn't want to live off Michelle anymore. I would like to point out, killing someone and stealing their money is the ultimate form of living off of someone. What the fuck?
What?
So, the police took her to court, and after, oh, I think it was 2 years. So they took her to court after 2 years, and she pleaded guilty to 2nd-degree murder to avoid death sentence because Florida.
Yeah.
Or a life sentence, and she was sentenced to 45 years in prison,
Wow.
and all of that was for $1,000.
For $1,000.
So she was 40 when she was sentenced, and she will be at least 80 when she's released if she doesn't get bail sooner.
What year was this? Sorry.
2011.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so pretty recent, and Michelle was 67. So
My
like,
God.
yeah, she was like just like kind of a young granny. It was said that Michelle said, when Patty moved in, that she was so excited to have someone home for the holidays again.
Oh, fuck off. No. That just broke my heart.
And that is the story of Michelle Mickey O'Dowd.
That's so odd.
Yeah.
That's just like,
Fucked.
is that like a psychotic break? Is that...
Yeah, probably. I mean,
Probably.
look, there's like speculations that she's like bipolar and shit like that. And it's like, but I don't get it. Like, I just don't get it. All of that for $1,000 and you don't take her stuff. Like, yeah. Very wrong.
No. Yeah, like, if you're gonna live off them, take more than just their credit card, because
Michelle's niece was like, if Mickey, like, you know, if Patty had asked Michelle, she would have given her the money straight up. Like, she didn't need to steal it. Yeah, she wanted her own money.
that's just, I think, I find murders like that, like, just really pointless murders. Not that
They're the worst.
all murders aren't pointless, but just that, it's like, just why?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I feel that.
It's such a waste.
It's so pointless. And it's so, like, such an extravagant loss of human life.
Yeah.
For $1,000.
For $1,000, yeah. Oh my god.
It's like killing someone over an ice cream sandwich. It's, you know.
Don't question that.
Yeah. She's like, I told you not to talk about this.
So don't take the last bag of chips.
Yeah. He stepped on my gecko. So I killed him.
People, I think, particularly those who live in Florida, that's something else.
But she was from South Carolina or North Carolina. She moved to Florida. Does Florida change people? That's my question.
Probably.
Is there an aura?
Without
Is
a
it
doubt.
the heat? I think it's the heat and all those reptiles.
I was about to say the alligators. I was literally about to say the alligators.
It's the heat and the reptiles. They look at you and they connect with you and you
that's
become a bit alligatory.
Then you become the Lily Queen.
Yeah, exactly right. And steal $1,000 and kill someone and put them underneath it. What breaks my heart is like I was so excited to have someone home for the holidays again. That was so fucked. And she was such a nice person.
That is horrible.
From one horrible story to the next. Tell them who you're doing, Jamie.
So Brad and I obviously decided to do a Christmas episode. We're like, yeah, like, it's Christmas. And so I was like, I was like, who gets murdered on Christmas? Like, who's been murdered? And I clicked on a list.
Same list. I think it was the same list.
It was the same list. Yeah, yours was first. I'm scrolling down, and there it is. Jon Benet Ramsey.
I fully forgot that she was murdered on Christmas.
I
fully forgot. Because I associate her with like pageants, and that's it.
Yeah,
like not Christmas.
Yeah, you don't associate it with Christmas. And I think because her case has had so much publicity, just more in about her being in pageants and kind of what happened on the night and her family, that you just forget what time of year it was.
Yeah.
So the night before, so Christmas Eve. Yep, it's Christmas Eve. The Ramsey family have a big party at their house, a Christmas party. So this takes place in Boulder, Colorado on December 26th in 1966. So not that long ago at all. So Jon and Patsy Ramsey wake up to find their youngest child, Jon Benet, who is 6, missing from their house. There are a lot of 6s. 26, 96, and she's 6.
666.
There it is. So she's missing from their house. While they're searching for their daughter in the house, they find a ransom note asking for $118,000 in exchange for Jon Benet Ramsey. So the note warns them not to get the police involved. However, Patsy immediately calls the police, I think, as
reasonable.
Which is fair. Reasonable. Yeah. So police arrive at 5:55 a.m. and find no signs of forced entry. Patsy and Jon call friends and family, and before they know it, their house is just flooded with people. Everyone is searching for Jon Benet. They searched the house 6 times, and this was a large house. I remember hearing it was like, I think it was like 3 stories. It was basically a mansion. So they searched it six times before they find Jon Benet's body in their basement, which is just Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
don't think I
my
really.
question is, like, when they saw the ransom note and they thought that she was kidnapped, and I think the idea was so that police wouldn't search the house.
Yeah.
But, like, why did they search the house if they thought it was a kidnapping?
Sure that she hadn't, you know,
Yeah.
run off,
Yeah.
kind of just being a child.
And wrote her own ransom note. You're right.
Yeah. Even though she's 6.
Yeah.
Um. So her body was found at 1 p.m. So
A long
the
time.
police arrive at 6 a.m. and her body's found at 1 p.m. Like,
That's a long time.
how are you in the house that long, search it 6
7
times
hours, yeah.
and only find the body in the basement? How does that work?
Mm-hmm.
So her body's found at 1 p.m. Jon immediately picked up his daughter's body and took it upstairs. Her room was the only room cornered off all morning. And as you can tell, there's just no security measures in terms of crime scene preservation at all. During the autopsy, it's determined that she has a skull fracture and died of asphyxiation due to strangulation. Her mouth had been covered in duct tape, and her wrists and neck were wrapped with a white cord. Her torso had been covered in a white blanket, and there was no conclusive evidence of rape, as no semen was found on the body. However, her genital area had been wiped clean, although a sexual assault had occurred. Her last meal was determined to be pineapple, and her parents don't recall giving her pineapple. However, a bowl of pineapple was found in the kitchen with her brother Burke's fingerprints on them. The parents maintain that Burke was asleep in his room the whole night. So that is quite literally the entire case.
Yeah.
So it is a very short case for such a big kind of event. I don't even know what to say. So I'll go into theories. Theory one is that yeah. The family obviously are the main focus as perpetrators. The police felt that the ransom note was staged due to it being unusually long, and the note was written in pen and paper from the Ramsey house. Also, the note that it had stated $118,000 was the ransom money, which was the amount that Jon had received as a bonus. Sorry, there was a bug. As a bonus in that year. So that exact amount. Both Patsy and Jon's handwriting were analysed forensically to see if it matched. Patsy couldn't be conclusively cleared, but other than that, there was no physical evidence to support anything else. In 1999, the parents went to trial for child endangerment charge and neglect. However, it couldn't be ruled beyond reasonable doubt, and it was dismissed. Theory 2 was an intruder theory. There was a boot print found next to Jon Benet's body, which didn't belong to anyone in the family. There was also a broken window in the basement, which was believed to be the most likely point of entry for an intruder. Additionally, there was DNA drops of blood from an unknown male found on her underwear. The house was predominantly carpet, so it would have been easy for the killer to walk around without making noise. So I did read on one website that I think the intruder moved her body down there throughout the day, which doesn't make sense considering I imagine there would have been a lot of people there. I also remember watching a forensics TV show about it.
I'm imagining a dude just holding a body while the police are looking just in the background.
Behind everyone. No, it's Christmas presents. Just like...
in a sack. Yeah.
No, I do remember watching a TV forensic show. That didn't really make sense.
A forensic TV show.
Yeah. That it was determined the way the window was broken from the inside out because there was no glass, but I think something to do with cobwebs and the way they were wiped away.
Interesting.
Pretty sure that was...
So it was broken from the inside out and then it made to look like it would kept...
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So whether they were left that way, who knows? So some suspects. One of the most famous suspects was a man named John Carr. So he was arrested in 2006 when he confessed to killing Jon Benet by accident after he had drugged and sexually assaulted her. Carr was eventually dismissed as a suspect after it was revealed that there were no drugs in Jon Benet's system, and police could not confirm he was in Boulder at the time, and his DNA did not match the blood samples found on her underwear. In 2016, CBS aired the case of Jon Benet Ramsey, which implied that her 9-year-old brother Burke was the killer, despite the fact that he was cleared by DNA evidence and that proved the existence of an intruder. Burke filed a $750 million lawsuit against CBS for defamation, and the case was settled in 2019, but that was never disclosed.
Did he win?
It was never disclosed whether he did win or not.
I mean, surely.
I imagine. And then the next suspect was a man named Gary Olivia. So he was 54 and he was a convicted pedophile, and he was serving a 10-year sentence in Colorado for possession of child pornography. His parole is up this year. But he said, "I never loved anyone like I did Jon Benet, and yet I let her slip and her head bashed in half after I watched her die." Olivia wrote in a letter to her former classmate, Michael Vale. "It was an accident. Please believe me. She was not like the other kids." In another letter to Vale, Olivia wrote, "Jon Benet completely changed me and removed all evil from me. Just one look at her beautiful face, her glowing..."
The pedophilia? What about that evil? Sorry.
No, that's fine. Just one look at her beautiful face, her glowing beautiful skin, and her divine God body. I realized I was wrong to kill all other kids. Yet by accident she died and it was my fault. Felt weird saying that. So Vale had received a call from Gary on the 27th of December in 1996 stating that he had killed a little girl and saw her the next day on the news, and that it was and he had realized that it was Jon Benet. He called Boulder police and told them, but he was dismissed. And then he called again 3 months later to see if they had followed up on his tip. And they just said, "You need to call the tip line and give that information to them." But as far as he was concerned, nothing else ever happened from that. But I was reading kind of a link that stated like a bunch of really odd facts about the Jon Benet case, other than obviously everyone was allowed in there, no crime scene was preserved. John and Patsy was quite odd when she made the 911 call. Like, she hung up on 911, like where a lot of other people would stay on the line while police came. A suitcase was found at the crime scene that didn't belong to anyone, because the Ramsey family was getting ready to leave, so they had all their suitcases packed. But this one didn't belong to anyone that they knew of, and inside was found a semen-encrusted cloth, which was determined to belong to another Ramsey family member, which was John's oldest son, who was from another marriage and lived out of
Okay, I will say, a semen-encrusted cloth, if he was a teenage boy, that is a thing. Cum socks are a thing. So it's not like he was like, "Here you go, John." Like, it is a thing that teenage boys do, because teenage boys are disgusting. So I wouldn't put too much on that. I mean, obviously, if it's his cum sock, it's his suitcase. Just saying. Yeah. Sorry to put the pieces together, but you know.
Oh yeah.
There was pineapple on the table for a reason.
You're fucked. But yeah, so that's basically that. A lot of people do suspect that
Burke.
The brother, Burke, Burke had killed Jon Benet in maybe like a rage with a light, or like a big flashlight, or just, and the parents covered it up. I remember seeing a couple of interviews, and he was very quite emotionless, but whether that was because he couldn't comprehend what was going on, I think he was only 8 at the time.
He's 8 and his sister was just murdered.
Yeah, like, adults react differently when they get a shock of someone dying, let alone a child. But it is a very odd case. And again, you just immediately forget that it's around Christmas time.
Yeah.
That it happened at Christmas.
Yeah. They were just doing a Christmas thing.
Yeah. So that was a very famous case that Yeah, and
What I find always very interesting about that case is that John's father, I forget his name, he invited the neighbor over almost as if to discover the body because he was like,
John,
come down to the basement.
John Benet's dad's name's John.
Oh, I thought so. I was like, no,
Yeah.
I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
No. Yeah.
So John invited the neighbor over and was like, hey, we should check the basement. And so they checked the basement together, not with the policeman, but with the neighbor. And then they discovered the body together. That's what I
Yeah.
found so fucking fishy about the case.
I just don't understand. Apparently, like, this house was so large, apparently there was another room in the basement.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just one
It was
kind of
the wine
layout.
cellar in the basement, yeah.
Yeah. Which I get, but like, how do you search the house 6 times
As police,
then
you should
and
really
then
know
find
how
her
to
body
search a
at,
house.
yeah, find her body at
Yeah.
1 p.m. Like that's several
Yeah.
hours. And also, no, with the ransom note, it wasn't. No one said that they were going to call.
Yeah.
Which is a big thing with ransom notes. Like, obviously, like, you take something because you want something and
Yeah.
you're going to need to communicate. You're going to need to do an exchange.
Yeah.
But they didn't say that they were going to call at any specific time. They didn't leave a number to call.
They didn't have the child. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, it screams of a cover-up. But, you know, we'll never know, unfortunately. Because
Unfortunately, we'll never
John's
know.
dead, right?
I'm pretty positive, yeah.
And the mum's...
Well,
one of the parents is alive and the brother's alive. But the person who, like most people suspect, which is John, I think he's dead. Or maybe it's the mother. I don't know. I don't remember. But while you're looking that up, I'm going to tell you a story about... So I saw this Vine once, and I thought it was such a great idea. So I did it. So my mum's work has, like, trivia nights every year. And you have to have a team name. And I got to decide the team name, so I wrote on a slip and gave it up to them. And we were Jon Benet and the Ramseys. And the announcer was like, are you serious? I was like, yes, please. He was not happy.
Patsy Ramsey.
Paddy Ramy.
Ramsey. I can't. That's
Rami Malek.
died in 2006.
Right.
And then I think Jon Benet has remarried.
You reckon?
John Ramsey. Oh my god.
You reckon?
I haven't even had any alcohol.
Well,
By the time people listen to this, they're gonna have to look up the case because I've just fucked it that much.
I think Jon Benet probably has remarried.
Jon
Yeah.
Benet's remarried.
Fuck.
Why would you? I'm not gonna name my daughter Jamie May Schiavo.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, look. I mean, you could.
I could, but I'm not going to. Like, you don't name if you're John Ramsey, you don't name your daughter Jon Benet Ramsey.
Yeah. No. It's odd.
That's his fault.
But
for
usually
they
name the son. Usually it's the firstborn son that's like pass the name on to, but his name is Burke. Which I'm sure he's lovely, and I feel for him. But,
I think he's a weirdo.
I mean, you're allowed to be a weirdo, and you're still, you're still allowed to not be persecuted.
Really?
But he probably has autism. Like, he probably has some sort of like emotional dysfunctional thing, because like
he's terrifying. He's actually terrifying.
But like a lot of articles that I've read are like, hey, we seem to be shitting on him, and he might have, something wrong. He does kind of look like a mannequin, I will say.
Yeah, that's what's weird.
Yeah, a bit plasticky.
Oh, dog just scared me.
It's John.
Don't sneak up on him.
It's a Jon Benet.
Although he is... Oh, yeah, because he was on Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
He is in creepy quotes. Dr. Phil reveals why Jon Benet Ramsey's brother Burke couldn't stop smiling while reliving the day of the murder.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, that was right. He was, for the first time after 20 years of silence, he was slammed by viewers for his alarming body language. He, like, wouldn't make eye contact and he just kept smiling.
Which...
Dr. Phil explained this is anxiety. He's socially uncomfortable. I've seen it a lot. He's not autistic. He's not weird. He's not creepy.
So he's not autistic. Okay. I mean, I would like to point out Dr. Phil is not qualified, but yeah. Dr. Phil isn't he like a qualified plumber, and that's it?
He's just a white man with an opinion.
Look, it holds. It holds. I'm a white man with opinions.
Burke addressed speculation that it was his late mother who killed the 6-year-old beauty queen. Burke said it doesn't make sense, the notion that his mother Patsy murdered his sister, who was found dead. Not to say she never got upset, but nothing near laying a finger on us, let alone killing a child.
A falsetto child. Yeah, it's hard with that story.
It's such an odd case. Like, I feel like each one of them could have done it.
Because it's so open. You know, it could have been an intruder. It could have been a mix. My guess is
Yeah, what do you think happened? Yeah.
My guess is that Burke just happened to be up eating some fucking pineapple in the middle of the night. And then he went to bed. And because he's an asshole boy, he left it out. Sister comes out, eats the pineapple. Mum catches him. She gets pissed off. Boom, down the stairs. Dead.
Okay.
I mean, or it's all lies. And something completely, you know. I think it was probably... Look, I could believe it's an intruder, but I think it's a mix of an intruder and the parents.
I mean, she was strangled.
Yeah.
So I don't think Burke would have had the strength.
Yeah.
To do that. Like, she was only 6, but he was only 8.
Yeah. I will say that children, and we learn this in nursing, they don't have the same muscles we do at all. So if you tip their head back while doing CPR, you will strangle them to death. Like, because their air pipe, like their windpipe just closes. So it's a lot easier to strangle a child than it would be to strangle an adult.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
And it would take a lot less force. And so theoretically, I'm pretty sure he could have done it. But what I think is it was probably like an insurance situation. Like, they were going to say, oh, like, they took this money, they want this money. And then the intruder accidentally killed the child.
Yeah.
And so they you know.
I reckon it was one of the parents.
Yeah. I think the family was absolutely involved. And this is all speculation.
All speculation, yeah.
Please don't sue us. But yeah, it's difficult. And it's one of those ones that it's so open, it's so easy to speculate. Like, you know,
and because it wasn't secured, like, because the crime scene wasn't like secured, anything could have happened, any DNA, like, with all the facts, you could probably make up any sort of situation for it, and it would make sense.
Yeah.
You'd be like, yeah, but this, and it's like, yeah, but this.
Clearly, the killer was hiding in the vents and just dragged her along.
Look, at the end of the day, someone's gotten away with murder.
Yeah. Or someone's.
People's. I
mean, I don't think you really get away with your child's murder if you do murder your child. I think that pretty much stays with you until your eventual heart attack. No comment. But yeah, they allegedly definitely did it. There's too many confounding variables. Like the phone call, the buddying up, the way that John led the neighbor to John. John getting remarried. Yeah, I'm not convinced. It's sad, and I feel sorry for the kid. Like, obviously Burke didn't have a hand in it if it was a plot. Do you know what I mean? And then he gets all the hate because he's slightly socially odd. Yeah.
Don't get murdered this Christmas, guys. That's the moral of our stories.
And if you do, don't have a Christmas tree.
We'll tell everyone.
Yeah. And if you do, next year, guess where you'll be? At the bottom of the list, because we go by big long list. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to like number 4 and I was like, oh, Jon Benet, done.
Sweet. No, I literally read my one and I didn't want to read anymore because I wanted to be surprised by what you did. And you're like, I'm doing Jon Benet. I was like, all right, I guess. Sweet.
Like, bitch.
So, what happy thing happened to you this week? You fucking Grinch.
It's a fucking excellent question. Right, that's an excellent fucking question.
Oh, you got those mismatched laundry bins from Kmart.
Oh, don't even get. Do you know how angry that makes me? It's furious.
Furious.
Infuriated. No, I finally have purchased everything to ride my horse, like a full saddle, stirrups, stirrup leathers. Not that I can. So that is I'm quite happy about that.
Yeah.
I put a little Christmas bonnet on her. I don't know if you saw the photo.
I did. It was very cute.
Yeah.
I may put it up. I think you may have to get a tattoo just here that says horse girl. Horse girl energy.
I'm not like I'm not like one of those crazy horse girls though. I probably seem like it, but I promise you, compared to other people, I am so disinterested in my horse.
I've known Jamie for like almost like 5, 10, 7 years.
Something like 5, 10, 7.
5, 10, 7. Yeah.
We'll go back.
5,710 years. And I've never seen her pretend to be a horse. So,
thank you. My case rested. There we go.
I closed my case, Your Honor.
What about you? What's your happy thing?
That we're doing this again. But other than that, I got all my Christmas shopping done like really early. Ooh. And it's all out. I am so peeved. I got my dad a present. He didn't get me anything. How rude, sir.
Dads.
What else?
What did you get him?
I got him a bunch of stuff from T2.
Oh.
Because we went to dinner last night and I was like, oh, I haven't gotten him anything, and I realized this is my last opportunity to get something before, Christmas times, because he lives like so far away. And I was like, I'll get him. Oh, weird story. So he went to my stepsister's house. So he remarried after the divorce. And they went to my stepsister's house, and they had 2 teas from T2. Canberra breakfast and Melbourne breakfast. Now, they didn't tell me about this. I was like, what teas would they like? I picked out Canberra breakfast and Melbourne breakfast, bitch. The same 2. And we have hundreds of teas.
Yeah, literally hundreds of teas.
I picked out the same 2 that they had tried and really liked and wanted to get for themselves.
Well, look, it's a big job for you. You know what people like.
Well, and my dad, like, he opened the box and my stepmom, like, was like, I was like, yeah, that's right, bitch. Psychic.
I know you.
Yeah, I know you. But yeah, it's good just to be back at work and doing the thing, because I had the flu. Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Having the flu nowadays is something else. Because you're like, you spend the first 2 days like, do I have coronavirus? And then you don't.
But you still feel like dying.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. So,
I remember once, I've only had like the actual flu once. I think that was year 9.
Yeah.
And I was fine the day before, and I woke up the next day and I had like this pain in the back of my neck and the
God, it's so bad.
I like body aches, vomiting, and I was like, I'm dying. I was like, this is like meningitis. And I went to the doctors. I'm like, yeah, I have the flu. And I was like, this is the flu. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh,
what have I been having my whole life?
Yeah, I was like, so everything I've just had is the cold.
So, okay, so there's flu A and flu B, and they both affect people differently. So you could have had the flu, but not flu A is very big scary. And I had the flu once when I was in year 11, and I was living with my sister at the time in our little unit, and I was in bed and I sneezed, shat the bed.
Oh,
shat the bed. And my sister at the same time coughed, shat the bed. It was synchronized, fully synchronized. And then we both like sheepishly took our stuff into the laundry. And she goes, what are you doing? And I was like, I shat the bed. And she goes, I shat the bed. Yeah.
Oh, you poor little
I
children.
know. I know. It was so fucked up. It was so fucked up. But we had the flu for days, and like we had like barely any heating in our house. We had like it was horrendous, and like I had the week off school, and they were like, "Why aren't you coming in?" I was like, "I shat the bed." They're like, "You know what? Fair enough."
Yeah,
you
I
know,
usually
you know what?
have
Bust
good.
down, Tatiana. Bust down.
Yeah, yeah.
Um.
Oh,
So yeah, when are we planning to next record?
maybe next week, see how
Yeah.
Christmas goes and what we have family wise and how busy and
Yeah.
things like that.
Sounds good.
I like the plan.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, we will see you guys when we see you guys.
Guys, yeah, hopefully soon.
Mm.
And take care. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that jazz.
Let us know in the comments what your happy time of the week was.
Yeah.
Um, and we may include you because we don't have a lot of them nowadays. But yeah, anyways, thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.